Hello everybody, welcome. This is a Let's Play Axis and Allies 1940 Global out-of-box edition. Slide away this American chip from the last game. Alright, so the game is set up and ready to go. We have myself versus Adrian. Adrian will be playing the Axis powers and I will be playing the Allied powers. This is a no-bid game, and as many of you who know Axis and Allies very well might know that that means that Adrian has quite the significant advantage. But this is the way we want to play it for this video, so we are going to try it and see how it goes. Alright, so this is set up to start. Everything is as it starts. France is already on our battle board here, expecting a immediate invasion. I imagine that'll be happening immediately turn one here. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so for purchase, Germany has chosen to do something terrifying and save its 30 money. It's 30 IPCs, so there's nothing on the mobilization zone. Terrifying for me. For combat moves, he has moved 2 submarines into 106, 3 submarines into 109, and a bunch of planes. His battleship and a bunch of planes into Sea Zone 111. Everything that he can, land units wise, has moved into France. It's here on the battle board, so it's a bigger battle, so we're going to roll it out there. And a decent amount of units into Yugoslavia there. Probably has some schemes up his sleeve, seeing as he didn't bring his tanks. He might want to retreat out of that fight if there's any units left to move him closer to the Russian front. We'll see. Alright. Alright, we're back after the combats in 106. Those 2 subs handedly took out the destroyer and transport that it was escorting. Same exact story here, no surprise. In this theater we did a little bit better. We took out his battleship and 1 fighter, but we lost our destroyer, cruiser, and battleship there. France, taken handedly. He's left with 1 artillery, 4 mechs, and 6 tanks. And, as suspected, he put everything into Yugoslavia. Because he brought a guy from Romania, the rule states he is allowed to retreat in that direction as well. So he got 2 hits and left. So I had to put 3 Russian guys here to symbolize the 3 remaining Yugoslavians. That is how combat went. France being taken, he gets the money from France. So that's 19 extra dollars going to the German coffers. So this is how everything is now.
Go ahead.
And this is how everything ends up. All right, so he moved the 3 guys into Finland and transported 2 guys up to Norway, so he took the Finland bonus. The 1 extra guy that he had left over in Romania went to Bulgaria, took the Bulgarian guys, so that's more and more infantry to the German cause. And he's bulked up on the Russian border. And his planes landed in Western Germany and Holland/Belgium. That is a wrap for the German turn. Germans collect 37 IPCs. Plus 19 equals 56. 56 for its looting the French coffers, and a bonus of 5 for having Norway, Denmark, and the Sweden rule, and a bonus of 5 for not being at war with the Soviet Union, bringing them to $66. 66 to Germany. All right, on to Russia's turn. Alright, we are here with Russia's turn. The thing is, we just took a quick moment to check and make sure everything was right. For example, this artillery we just had to place now because we realized we'd forgotten it when we were setting everything up. So everything should be up to snuff now. Alright, in this version of Axis and Allies, if you're unfamiliar, because it's 1940, Russia is not allowed to declare war on Germany until the 4th turn, or unless it gets attacked first. So we move right into the non-combat. So, for purchase, with 37 IPCs, we purchased 11 men. This is a red chip, a gray chip, and a green chip, coming to 10. The guy on top makes it the guy on top makes it 10. This is the 11th man, and a mechanized infantry right here. All right. This is how everything is now, and this is where everything ends up. Consolidate a force of 16 infantry in Leningrad, and 1 artillery and all the planes. Consolidated a force here. Got a little bit of stuff coming on, and our Siberian troops seeing the danger out west, have chosen to abandon their eastern post and start the slow, long march west. All right. Russia collects 37 IPCs, and we move on to the Japanese turn. Almost forgot troop placements. 1 infantry in Ukraine, 1 mechanized infantry in Ukraine, and 10 infantry in Moscow. All right, now for real, to the Japanese turn. All right, we're back with Japan, and this is the way Adrian just loves to play Japan. So in this game, Japan only starts at war with China, and it is at peace with everyone else. Has an alliance with Germany and Italy, of course, but is only at war with China. And typically, you can declare war on the 3rd turn. It works out because if you don't declare war, then you get a $10 bonus. But Adrian is going hard in the paint here and has declared war on everybody. So he has pushed into China here. He's taken a guy here and a guy here to take those for free. He's attacking these 2 infantry in Hunan, I believe, and these 4 infantry here in Yunnan. Aside from that, he is also attacking this British battleship. The 2 strategic bombers came from the homeland, and this cruiser came down from Sea Zone 20. And he is attacking Philippines. Strategically, it is a victory city, and not only that, it's also a $5 bonus for the Americans. So, very strategically important for the Japanese to take that away. I believe those are all the fights. Those are all the fights? Yes? All right, those are all the fights. All right, so we'll be back with how these end up. Almost forgot. Also, his purchase, Japan starts with $26. He bought 3 transports, each at $7, costing $21, leaving $5 in the bank. All right, we're back. One thing I did forget to mention was that these 2 guys came and attacked the 2 British guys in Kwangtung. All right, so he took out the battleship here, and we got the hit back on the cruiser. He took these guys out handedly. We only got 1 hit back. We got no hits here. What was far more fun and interesting was my 2 infantry and fighter got 2 hits back on his land units, but the real fun part came when my destroyer and sub both scored a hit each, knocking his battleship to half health and taking out one of his subs. That was huge for us. All right, that's just extreme luck. So, this is how everything is now, and this is how everything ends up. All right, we have his purchase placed here. His invasion is going off successfully. His planes have landed here in Guangxi. It's a typical landing spot. He also took French Indochina, and he consolidated his fleet right around the Philippines in Sea Zone 35. Yeah, Sea Zone 35. Kept some of his fleet there present, likely to keep those transports alive and well. For income, he is sitting at 37 with the Russians and Germans. So he collects 37 IPCs, but if we remember at the start of his turn, he held 5 back in reserve, so this brings his total IPC count to 42 to be spent on round 2. All right, we'll be back with the American turn. All right, here we are with the American turn. All right, America starts kind of with a little bit of a stronger position in the Pacific and just really next to nothing on the eastern side. So, but the trade-off is we have a massive bankroll. All right, so $52 for America. Spends its IPCs by buying a carrier here and 2 subs, and another carrier and a destroyer. That comes to 52 exact. All right, we are at war, so there are a few things that we might be able to do, but just looking around the board here, I don't think we have any combat moves. I think we're just going to consolidate forces, move around, do some non-combats, and place our purchase. All right, we are back with the American turn. All right, what I was trying to say was I had to switch up the American purchase a little bit. So I dumped the 2 subs over on the Pacific side. There's just a carrier over there now, and I grabbed a transport and an artillery, leaving me with $1 left over. For non-combat, we took our transport and the artillery on eastern United States, went 1, 2, 3 because of our naval base, and dropped the artillery off here in Brazil, gaining the 3 guys that start in Brazil as American troops and the 2 IPC value as well. Move these guys into move the fighters into the C zone to be caught by the carrier. And over here, we move the whole fleet down like this, and yeah, that is essentially all we did. Oh, as well as bringing the bomber to UK. It can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On 5 moves, it can make it to UK. All right, that is it for the American turn. America collects 52 IPCs plus $20 in bonuses. We won't go into them all. You'll be able to find them in rulebooks or just online, just to kind of steamroll it. We're not going to go over every individual bonus here, but America starts with a bunch of bonuses once it's at war. So 52 plus 20 in bonuses brings it to 72. Keeping the 1 IPC during the purchase phase brings us to 73 IPCs for America's next turn. All right, we are moving on to China. China starts the game with 12 IPCs. And it can only purchase infantry, or if it has this entire red road at the start of its turn, it can also purchase artillery. It starts with 1 American fighter that can not be replaced, so we're going to try really hard not to lose it this game. Alright, so we have our 4 infantry, and we move to the combat phase. Alright, that is our combat. We're moving 5 infantry, divided out of these 2. So these 2 guys came, and then another 3 came, and the fighter against these 2 infantry and 1 artillery. And that is how the fight ended up. So he got 2 hits on me, but I was able to completely wipe him out. The plane lands back here, start of the Burma Road, and we just move everything down to safety and place our new purchase. So China is now sitting at 9, but if it has this Burma Road, this red line, squiggly line here, then it gains a bonus 6 IPCs. It's its only bonus. So 9 plus 6 equals 15 IPCs to the Chinese cause. All right, UK next. Okay, for the UK Europe purchase, we have a fighter, a transport, and 3 infantry. If my math is correct, that is 10, 17, and 9, $26, leaving me 2 left over. Because of that, I'm actually going to switch this guy out for an artillery, which leaves me with 1 left over. Don't mind me while I look around in the box for an awkward amount of time, trying to find one. Got it. Alright, $27, leaving me with 1 left over. On the Pacific side, with $17, we got 3 infantry and 1 artillery. That equals exactly 17, which is the starting amount. No combats on the Pacific side, but a few on the Europe side. So the fleet that was here is coming in here, and a whole bunch of planes, even planes I can reach from UK. The fighters can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and land here, and then the planes that start in this region just have to land elsewhere, Malta or Cyprus or somewhere. The cruiser that starts here came 1, 2, 3. Because of the naval base right there in Gibraltar, it can move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Attacking this destroyer and transport. And also the fighter that was in Gibraltar went 1, 2, 3. And is also fighting there. Alright. Those are the declared combats. So, this is how everything is now. Just a quick side note to those who haven't played G40. If you have fighters or tactical bombers on a friendly airbase, you are able to do what's called a scramble. Up to 3 of those planes can jump into the sea zone to defend against an amphibious assault or naval battle that is adjacent to their territory. So that brings this 1 German fighter, which he sneakily put there on the German turn, and these 2 Italian fighters into the fight as well, making that large fight look like this. My attacking carrier, destroyer, cruiser, and supporting air power. Alright folks, in the end, all that I had left over was my bomber and fighter. So his battleship, cruiser, transport, and 3 fighters are gone. But so was a whack load of my stuff. Here we got much luckier. We took out his destroyer with our cruiser and fighter. I mean, handedly, chances were we win that, but what's very nice is that we lost nothing while taking it, so that's a huge bonus. Alright, so we move on to the non-combat phase. As a quick side note, what Adrian and I just realized is that Germany actually kept its money on the first turn. So they don't have $66, they have 66 plus the 30 they kept. So that puts Germany at $96 for its turn 2. We just remembered that, thought we'd bring it up now before we forget. So now we have that locked in, ready to go. Alright, after much deliberating, we consolidated our forces there. Just moved everything from Scotland down, really. The fighter, the 2-man, and the anti-aircraft gun, chipped it. We snuck the battleship and cruiser out, way out here, just out of harm's way for now, to return. We don't got a lot of battleships left. In fact, that's our only one left. Move the guys from Ontario into Quebec, onto that factory there. Landed the planes in Malta, consolidated everything into Egypt, brought this destroyer up from South Africa, left the 2 guys on South Africa. This transport went 1, picked up the West Indian guy, 2, and collected the men and IPC value in Persia. So, now we've placed our purchase of 3 men and 2 artillery in India. Our transport down here at the factory in South Africa, this stream of light is absolutely terrible. So I apologize for that, but at least it's in an out-of-the-way spot on the map. So our transport was placed here at C-Zone 71 to grab these 2 guys next turn. And the 2-man artillery, and every time I put my finger there, it unfocuses. So I'm going to try and stop doing that. The 2-man artillery and fighter went to the UK just to help kind of bulk it up because we don't know where that 96 IPC purchase of Germany is going round 2. Alright, so for those of you unfamiliar, it is time to collect the UK income. The only problem is that he has submarines sitting on what's called convoy zones. So I don't think I don't think other Axis Allies games have this, but in this game, if you have when it's your turn to collect income, if there are enemy sea units or air units on carriers on the sea zones that have that symbol adjacent to your territories, they can roll dice to essentially sink money of yours. So Adrian is going to roll dice now, and how it works is submarines get 2 dice because they're quote-unquote better at convoying, and so do air units. So the other surface ships only get 1 dice, but submarines and air units, submarines and fighters and tactical bombers get 2 dice each. So how it works is, for each die that is 3, that he rolls a 3 or less, you have to take that much money out of your income, but up to the amount of IPCs that the territories adjacent to the sea zone are worth. So this convoy zone is touching New Brunswick and Quebec. So he can convoy up to $3 away from me here. This one is far scarier. It is touching Scotland and the United Kingdom. You can see just through there that there is a 6 and a 2. So he can convoy up to 8 and $3 away from me this turn if he rolls lucky. I'll show you guys the rolls and how it works here. So he's going to roll 4 dice now for the 2 subs in C-Zone 106. So you see we count 3s or less. He has successfully convoyed $3 away from me. That's exactly the perfect roll for him. I am down $3 for my round 2. And now the terrifying roll of 6 dice for the ones in 109. Far better this time. Only 5 out of the possible 8 taken away. So we take the 5 plus the 3 here. And when I add up my UK money, I have to be down 8 IPCs. So after a quick calculation, I'm sitting at 32 plus my bonus of 5. I have 1 bonus here, a bonus of 5 for owning all my original territories. That brings me to 37 minus the 8 we talked about brings me to 29 IPCs for the UK's second round. All right, next we move on to, and also over here, I should quickly mention, we started 17, but we're down 3. So that naturally puts us at 14. 14 IPCs here. The UK has a split economy in this game. They take their turn together, but their economy is split. So we have 29 IPCs that go to the London coffers and 14 IPCs that go to the Calcutta coffers. Adrian will be writing those down. All right, next comes Italy. All right, here we are with Italy's turn. For purchase, Italy has spent its $10 on a fighter. Makes sense. It lost both of its fighters in the not before it even had a turn, I guess, here in the first round. So what Italy has opted to do is take the submarine, destroyer, cruiser, transport, and kind of move them all over the place. So the destroyer went 1-2 and is attacking this British transport. That goes away. The destroyer stays right here. The submarine has come down and is attacking the cruiser on a risky mission to clean that up. And its own cruiser with the transport have offloaded a man and artillery, and the 2 infantry and tank that are there joined. I don't know if I brought it up the last video, but I took my transport and sneakily snagged Greece, which is pro-allied, with 2 men, and the 4 that were there brought it to 6 infantry that Adrian now has to delete if he wants a piece of Greece. Alright, so those are the... Oh, actually, there was a little bit more that took place. So he starts with a man in Italian Somaliland. He moved into Kenya. He took 1 man out of the 2 in Ethiopia and went into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. And he took a big stack of guys, the infantry and artillery in Libya, and the mech and the tank here, and is hammering everything into this poor French dude in Tunisia. Those are the fights. Adrian brought my attention to the fact that he actually pushed into Yugoslavia. I didn't even see that, so there's also that. Alright, this is how it ends up. So he killed the 3 guys here, took them out, and lost an infantry himself. He got very lucky on his first roll, got that 2. He got pretty lucky here as well. Obviously took out the transport, and these guys had no problem, but where I'm laughing is the fact that we have historically accurate Greeks here repelling the Italian invasion. So huzzah there. Awesome. Alright, so we move to his non-combat move now. And this is how it ends up. Fighter placed here, bomber landed, and the 6 infantry moved up to northern Italy. And of course, these guys stayed put, these guys stayed put, and everybody else moved. So, we move on to ANZAC. Alright, here we have ANZAC starting with 10 IPCs, purchasing a transport for 7, a man for 3. And for combats, just wondering if... I don't think there really are any combats here, but I think maybe a fun one to try would be these 2 guys that start in Egypt and pushing them down into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. Change my mind. We're not doing that at all. Don't feel like it, don't want to. I'd rather just move my stuff.
Talk about that.
Alright, so for ANZAC, we just consolidated everything here, put our purchase. We took Dutch New Guinea because it gives us a bonus of 5 to have that. Plus a bonus of 5 to have all original territories and Malaya. So original 10, 5 bonus, $20 for ANZAC. Over here, what we forgot to mention was that Italy went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that brings Italy from 10 to 15. No bonuses for Italy, just a straight 15 IPCs. Alright, now we move on to France. Alright, for France, this is how everything looks. We have a cruiser up here, we have 2 infantry and a fighter. Mercifully, we have 2 infantry and 2 artillery, so maybe we can do something spicy with that. Maybe not, we'll see. We have these 2 infantry, this infantry, that infantry, and this destroyer. So we got a weird little force that's really discombobulated all over the place, but we'll see what we can do with it. As you see, I've already taken this cruiser and destroyer and moved 1, 2 to take out that sub. Kind of easy pickings in my estimation, so we'll see how that goes. Let me just see if there's anything else we can do. No, I don't think I'm going to attack there. I think I'm going to make him come to me. So we will roll out this fight, and then we'll do some non-combats. And that, folks, is a wrap for round 1, Axis and Allies G40. We took this French guy and put him here. We took the French cruiser here off the British naval base and its own naval base. 1, 2, 3. And those guys obviously stay. The Syrian French guy came down 1, and the French West African gentleman moved over 1 to the east. And our destroyer in 72 went 1, 2, no naval base, so he could only move 2 spaces, up to join this British destroyer right here. All right, we'll be back with round 2. Germany, turn 2. Here is the German purchase, consisting of 8 artillery, 2 infantry, 2 bombers, 2 fighters, a submarine, and a destroyer, 96 IPCs. For combats, we have the submarines staying where they are. We have a bombing raid on England with 2 bombers and 2 fighters. And we have an invasion of Russia underway. Germany, turn 2, invasion of Russia. Ah, yes, and of course, how could I forget the 4 gentlemen and the 2 infantry and 2 artillery in Normandy are probably going to get clapped. Alright, so we'll be back with how those turn out. Combat ended with the Germans taking Normandy, losing the 1 artillery there. They bombed the factory in London to smithereens, putting 11 damage on it, so it's out of production unless it gets repairs. They took Karelia, Baltic States, Eastern Poland, and Bessarabia. On to the non-combats. From left to right, we have his sub moved from 106 through this cruiser and battleship, sneakily slipped into 89, and the other one went over there. One of these slid up there. He mobilized those units that he purchased here and here. The things that the mechs that took this had to stay, but the tanks went 1-2 into Yugoslavia, and then everything else non-combated in behind. The infantry that took this frontier on the west. Germany collects. Did you move the slider? Oh, I forgot to move the slider, so we'll just do it now. Germany goes up by 5 here. 6, 7, 8. So Germany should be up another 8. 37, bringing them to 45. They lose the Russian bonus, but they keep the Norway-Denmark bonus. So that 45 plus 5 should put them at 50 IPCs. Adrian's nodding. Should be 50 IPCs. Alright, next comes Russia. Russia, turn 2. Purchase is 9 men. We're already out of red chips, so dice are going to have to be rolled soon in order to get those back. So we got 9 infantry here for 27, and the fighter for 10 brings it to 37. Alright, so this is how everything looks now. Alright, we have chosen to tuck tail and run. So looking down these German stacks here, I just felt no confidence in facing them right now. He's got 7 infantry here, he's got 13 infantry there, supported by 5 artillery, there's 3 tanks, but there's also a whole bunch of tanks ready to counter punch anywhere that I would even attempt to punch. So we are going to retreat deep into the motherland. Got my mobile units down here in the very south in the Caucasus. I got my infantry stack and 2 artillery in Bryansk, and my Leningrad stack up north. Went to Archangelsk, and I got those guys all moved 1 more west. The slow march continues. And then the cruiser moved 1 out as well. That's kind of just a block, and the only thing that's going to save is this submarine. That's the... Essentially, we're just ceding that territory to him right now. Alright, we will mobilize the new Russian units. There they are. That brings us to... oh, I guess I should also mention IPCs. We're down 4 on... Actually, we're only down 3 on the front. That brings us to 34. Plus the Archangelsk bonus of 5 brings us to 39 IPCs for Russia turn 3 purchase. We are on to Japan. Japan turn 2. Japan's purchase for 42 IPCs. Air base, naval base, those are 15 IPCs each, so that comes to 30, and a minor industrial complex is 12. Comes to 42 IPCs. For combat, a fighter moved here and sinks that lone transport. Transport here went 1, loaded the Palau guy, 2, 3, to Borneo. Sizable force came from here and the remainders of the Philippines and went here. offloaded at Malaya. We got an offshore bombard from the battleship here. We got a fighter, tag bomber, 2 strat bombers. Odds are likely highly in his favor. One guy, I'm assuming from Frontier Indochina, slid over and took Shan's state. And we're attacking Yunnan, as well as these 3 Chinese territories that were up for grabs. He grabbed them. Alright, we'll be back with how the combats turned out. Alright, as predicted, an absolute steamroll. Took Yunnan handedly, losing 1 infantry. Took Malaya handedly, also losing 1 infantry. Obviously took Borneo no problem, took out the transport no problem. And those 3 Chinese territories out for grabs, that was all not an issue whatsoever. Barely an inconvenience. Yeah, so we'll be back with the non-combat move and the placing of the purchase. Alright, the fleet from here moved here. The transports came down, brought a whole bunch more land units. Go ahead and place your facilities there. Some of you astute observers might have noticed that these facilities were already on the map. We had just forgotten to remove them from the previous game. Now Adrian has repurchased them, same as he did last game, and is placing them in the exact same spot. So, the transports brought people down. The armies that were more in eastern China followed up the infantry that took those frontier territories. Planes all had to land. That all looks like that. That looks like that. He has a blocker up right there, keeping the homeland safe. He moved everything to a very strategic location at the Caroline Islands. That has both an air base and a naval base, a very fortified position now. Kind of seated himself on a strong point right between ANZAC and Australia there. Alright, we're on to USA turn 2. Oh yes, and a quick mention that Japan collects 48 IPCs. Alright, USA turn 2. A few quick combats here. The sub comes 1, 2, along with the fighters that were in Hawaii come 1, 2, 3. Over here, this pesky sub that was going to convoy these territories, wouldn't have been much, but every bit counts, right? Is being attacked by our destroyer, cruiser, and 2 fighters here as well. There's the combats. We'll be back with that in a sec. Incredibly lucky rolling for him. His sub managed to take out my destroyer there, and his destroyer managed to take out my sub. Both those pesky boats are off the board. I forgot to mention my purchase. It is 3 infantry, a sub, 2 destroyers, and 6 transports, coming to 73 IPCs. From now on, I think I'm just going to try and keep the US purchase right here in the bottom of the Indian Ocean consolidated for all to see. Alright, I'll be back with the non-combat moves. Non-combat was just bringing those fighters back and the aircraft carrier down, placing the sub there, bringing the transport down here to pick up these Brazilian gentlemen, placing the 6 transports and the 3 infantry and the 2 destroyers there. USA collects 72 IPCs. We move on to China's round. China, with 15 IPCs, purchases 5 infantry. And this is the situation that, or rather the barrel of the gun that China's looking down. Only combat China has is moving the 2 guys from Shenxi up, and this fighter moves 1, 2. We'll see how that goes for us. Okay, so we were successful in taking that territory, bringing us to a total of 6 territories left, each worth 1, so only 6 IPCs for our next turn. We pushed this whole army back, landed the fighter there, and we also placed our purchase of 5 men. So that is, it's a growing army. It's growing. Alright, UK. UK round 2. Now, previously, if you remember, I said, oh, looking at this, one thing we forgot entirely is this bombing raid that the American bomber from UK is doing on that minor industrial complex in Normandy. So we're going to quickly roll that out. We'll even show how that goes. We don't show enough rolling, so we're going to show some rolling here. Adrian, kindly roll a 1. No hit. Alright, then I will roll a 6-sided die. 3 damage plus 2, because it's a strat bomber, brings that to 5 damage. Right on. All right, now we can do UK Europe. And one thing I quickly wanted to mention about UK Europe is, if you remember previously, I mentioned that UK Europe has 29 IPCs. What I totally failed to remember is that I saved one IPC on my purchase. So that actually brings UK Europe to 30. Not a whole lot, but I'll take it. I'll take any extra IPC I can. It's round 2 and I already feel like we're in dire straits here. Bomber successfully got off 5 damage. And lands here. UK purchases 3 factory repairs. We've removed them, so there's only 8 damage on the factory in London. You see there are 3 green chips and 2 gray. Comes to 8. Purchase of 3 destroyers and 1 infantry brings the total right up to 30. Across the way, on the Pacific side, with 14 IPCs, we purchase 2 infantry and 2 artillery. We move on to the combat phase. Just a quick change up here. Spending on only 2 destroyers, and instead of 3, replacing the 3rd with a transport and replacing the infantry with an artillery. Still comes to the same. Just want to quickly mark down that I did that. For combats, we brought these 2 guys from South Africa, 1 here, and offloaded them into Kenya. We brought down 2 infantry and 2 artillery to attack these guys. No attacks in the Pacific. And also this destroyer comes up 1-2 and slams into the opposing destroyer, and the 2 fighters from Malta will also move 1-2 to attack it. Now it's just a question of what to do with the victorious Greeks. Shall we be offensive or defensive? I think in the long run it's best that this gentleman stays defensive. Alright. And Adrian has done it again with just consistently banging off hit after hit on the defense. Took out 1 of my infantry in Kenya and 1 in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. Now you might be thinking that's nothing, that doesn't matter, but those add up over the course of a long game, which this is probably going to be. The trade-off for me is he did not get the hit here, where he probably would have much rather had it. So, amazing. We take those. We move to the non-combats now. For non-combat, we brought this bomber. It only had 1 movement point left, so went over to the Belgian Congo. The fighters landed here. Everything else stayed there. We took, with 1 infantry, we took northwest Persia, and the transport with the remaining 2 slid on back to India and placed those 2 fine Persian gentlemen over there. Destroyers chilling. We're still huddled up and praying, listening to the King's speech. And the cruiser and battleship moved up onto the Canadian coast. I do believe that is all. So we have some convoys we have to roll out, and we have purchases to place. We'll be back with how that turned out. He successfully convoyed 7 of the possible 8 IPCs away from me there. That stinks, but it is what it is. Purchase placed, 2 destroyers and a transport, and the artillery goes there. And the 2 artillery and 2 infantry go to India. I realize that I'm absolutely filling up the space. It's just I want to save as many chips as possible as the game goes on. But as these fights and the major confrontations happen, more and more chips will become available. And I will also work to just get more chips in my chip bank here. Alright, that moves us on to Italy's turn. Oh, but also here on UK Pacific, we only have 6 IPCs left. It's pretty darn meager. In this version, if you've only ever played Europe or only Pacific, you might understand how the map cuts. You can kind of see how the borders cut like this. In Global, the West India 2 IPCs goes to the Pacific economy, but the 1 Canadian Western Canada IPC goes to the Europe economy. So that hopefully that just, for anyone that has only played one of the 1940s and hasn't played Global, that's just a little clarification there. That's why we have 6 IPCs here on the Pacific side, not just 4. All right, Italy Turn 2. For purchase, we have submarine, tank, infantry. The tank and submarine are 6 each. Infantry 3 equals 15. For combats, we have this one infantry slid out into British Somaliland. And we have 1 infantry slid out of Tobruk into Alexandria. We have the tank and the mechanized infantry that went 1, 2. Now, mechanized infantry can only blitz if they are supported by a tank. So it's a completely legal move. 1, 2 into Morocco there. Looking to get his North Africa bonus all the way across. And the transport loaded the artillery from here and one of the infantry from here. And actually, because there was only 1 infantry from there, we owe you a chip under that guy. You can go ahead and do that. We'll turn that red chip into a green one, so we owe him a gray. Yeah, those are the fights. And this is how it ended up. Obviously took that handedly, took Algeria handedly, lost his mechanized infantry there, took Greece. The Greeks just couldn't do what they did last time. The one guy faltered and fell. So that puts Italy up to 17 IPCs. You can just go ahead and on camera place the purchase and we can move on.
I have to do non-combat.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Yeah. How could I forget? Wow, look at me. So rude. All right. We move to non-combat. It appears that he moved the guys from northern Italy through that tiny little corridor border with France. He moved them there. Placed his tank purchase in northern Italy. Landed his bomber that fought Morocco with 4 spaces, 5, 6, 7. Placed his submarine here. And drove his Yugoslavian tank 1, 2 into Bessarabia there. That is so sneaky, so sneaky. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we noticed. And of course, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but he has these pesky German fighters here helping to protect the makings of his new fleet. So we'll see what can be done about that. 17 IPCs to Italy, and with their North African bonus of 5, that brings them to a total of 22 IPCs for their turn 3 purchase. We move on to ANZAC. For purchase, ANZAC chooses to purchase a destroyer worth 8, 2 infantry worth 6, that's 14, keeping 6 IPCs. The reason being is ANZAC has this silly little scenario in which it can only have minor industrial complexes. I won't get into the rules too much, but yeah, if you read the rule book, it's just that's the way it is. It doesn't have a territory that's worth 3 or more that's original. So, and you know what? Keeping 6 IPCs is actually pretty strong as well. So, keeping 6 IPCs, that is our purchase. We move to combat, non-combat. After viewing the board for just a few moments, we realize that there is very little in the way of combat that ANZAC can do at this moment. So, we simply went 1, 2, 3, or 1, 1, 2, 3, if you will, with this transport, offloaded 2 guys into Java, taking it from the pro-allied Dutch. See their flag there, put the ANZAC flag on it. They are happy to let the Anzacians, the Australians and New Zealanders, use Java for resources. So that brings Australia's IPC value up to 14. Starts with 10 in this region here. Up 4, up to 14. Bonus of 5 for these islands here. Brings it to 19. Keeping its 6 IPCs brings it to 25. So we will just place this here, purchase of ours. And also these 2 Australian infantry that start in Egypt, they will continue to sit tight in Egypt for now. All right, France. After an embarrassingly long amount of deliberating, I just decided to move the cruiser 1, 2, 3, the destroyer up. So we got a nice French fleet going in this game. The guy from Transjordan moves down to Egypt, and the guy that originated in French West Africa has gone 1, 2. This is his second turn. He's come this far. All right. And the 2 infantry here in the fighter just stay. Germany, round 3. Round 3 has begun. We have a 48 IPC purchase, leaving Germany 2 IPCs, consisting of 6 infantry, 4 tanks, 1 submarine. For combat, we are going just full metal, bombing everything we can on the everything that Germany can. I'm not the Germany player. Bombing everything that Germany can in the UK island there. And the Russian invasion goes on. So there's a bunch of free territories here, and he is snapping them up. So I think that the only and also this Russian cruiser is being attacked by a sub and a bunch of supporting air units. So it's just this bombing raid we'll have to roll for, and this, and we will come back with how that ended up. So much unfortunate. These anti-aircraft systems of the British, I guess, are still World War I era, because all 4 of those bombers are still flying the skies of Europe. So they delivered. I don't have enough chips, so what I've elected to do here is flip the bases upside down for max damage. They both have 6 damage each, but my industrial complex is max damage -2. So I flip it upside down to show max damage, and 2 gray chips is -2. So if I'm skimming over it and you're seeing that and you're wondering what that means, it's at 18 damage. Max damage being 20, we're at -2, so 18 damage there. All right, that's enough about that. We lost Russia lost its cruiser. Germany lost its submarine. So statistical, we had a 50% chance of getting hit back. We got it. And then knocked out the submarine. Obviously, the submarine missed its sneak attack. And here, the invasion went off without a hitch. So we are going to see how Germany conducts its non-combat now. For non-combat, moved his fleet down to here, placed a purchase there, moved a pesky sub up there that takes away a bonus from Russia. By doing that move, he pushed 7 infantry into Ukraine. A pretty decent stack. I think it's something like 13 infantry and 5 artillery, 3 tanks, 3 anti-aircraft guns. Here coming up in the rear, I think these guys came from Yugoslavia. 1, 2, went up into Eastern Poland there. 6 tanks, a mech, and then we have this huge stack of artillery making its way, 7 guys into Leningrad, and I think that is pretty much it. Well, I think this mech came from southern France, yes? 1, 2, yeah, so Germany moved its mech from southern France, 1, 2, into Yugoslavia, so he's really trying to push everything east, it would seem, but also has a pretty strong bulwark of a cruiser. Is that just a cruiser there? Oh, it is. It's just a cruiser, and the destroyer is here. Is there something you would like to change?
Can I change it?
Yeah, you can change it. Yeah, you haven't placed your. Yeah, we haven't moved on to the turn yet. Yeah, you can change a non-combat move. Yeah. Just a quick little switch up here. He is. Germany has elected to just have the submarine pens do exactly what they did historically, and just have submarines there, and keep the surface fleet much closer to the fatherland. So we got a destroyer, transport cruiser in 112 there. Meanwhile, the subs are in there. Submarine pens in 105 here. Oh, they all fell over. Isn't that a shame? All right. I think that is that for G3. We calculated them out to be at 52, plus a bonus of having Leningrad and a bonus for this. Obviously, they don't have their not at war with the Soviet Union bonus, so 52 plus 5 is plus 10. 62 IPCs to the German coffers. We move on to Russia. Turn 3. For Russia's purchase, it is 9 artillery and 1 infantry. I have the units here to just represent the chips, because I think I'm just going to be moving on back and just be sliding these chips underneath the units that already exist. So this is just to show where my purchase is. I have 39. Russia has 39 IPCs and is spending that on 9 artillery and 1 infantry. For combats, I believe this is the only combat Russia wants to do right now. So moved all this mobility. Actually, what do we do? Might as well get these fighters in here as well. We want to knock out first round, don't we? So we got 3 mech infantry, 2 tanks, 2 fighters, and a tactical bomber pushing into Iraq. I guess Russia thinks it doesn't have bigger problems right now. It's going on side quests. All right. That is the way the cookie is crumbling for this. So we'll just quickly conduct this combat. This is how it ended up. So, lucky Iraqi warriors got 2 hits here, taking out 2 of my mechanized infantry. So this puts Russia up 2 on the board, moving it from 27 to 29. And now the Russian generals have some serious deliberating to do on how this non-combat looks. Alright, after some serious deliberation, we pulled out of Bryansk. We pulled the guys from Archangel down, but we bolstered them with 6 more infantry. So that is 15 plus 6, 21, 22 infantry and artillery and 2 anti-aircraft guns there. Just trying to bring the boys home, you know. These fighters landed here. That fighter will just stay there. And these guys, again, the slow march west. The submarines, as you were. Alright. We place our artillery, our 9 artillery, and our 1 infantry. So we slid these 3 green chips under the artillery and 1 more gray chip under that guy, meaning that our purchase is placed. Everything is as it should be. Russia collects 29 IPCs plus a bonus of 3 for having an original pro-Axis neutral territory, bringing it to 32 IPCs for Russia. Japan, round 3. Japan, round 3. Let's start with their purchase. Exactly 48 IPCs, 3 tanks, 2 infantry, artillery, destroyer, and bomber. Alright. Hog Wild Japan here. We got an attack on the 2 ANZAC infantry, no surprise. An attack on the transport, no surprise. I believe he was already there, or is this? No, this is an attack from Borneo over to the Celebes. And I believe one of these 3 transports went 1, 2, picked up the guy from Shan State, 3 dropped off at Sumatra, if I'm remembering, if I understand that all correctly. And these guys are all chilling, I suppose, except for these 2 guys and 1 fighter are attacking the far northern Chinese infantry. Did I miss any combats? No? Alright. Oh, yes, I did. I missed this naval combat here. A sub-destroyer battleship and 2 strategic bombers are attacking this destroyer and cruiser. UK has a scramble option here, but I believe those odds would be unfavorable. So, at any rate, these are the combats. This is how everything ends up. One guy came down to Burma, took that. This was sad for UK, not 1 hit back. I mean, to be fair, only a destroyer and cruiser rolled, but to not even get a single hit. So this is all just pristine after having done massive damage. All of the money islands have been taken, and they're called that for a reason. The 4 of them together equal 15 IPCs, and if Japan has all 4 of them, they get a bonus 5 IPCs. So having all 4 of these is worth 20 to Japan. So yeah, they took all that handedly, and they beat the brakes off the single Chinese guy up there as well. I don't think I got a single hit back this round. This is just a complete win round for Japan. USA turn... actually, let's do non-combat and place units. Correction, we did get 1 hit here. Huzzah. ANZAC, always ANZAC. The Australians are always there for the win. Awesome. So, purchase placed. 2 transports there, a destroyer, got a blocking destroyer. This fleet is really hunkered in there. Yeah. This is all sitting like this.
Not my purchase, the transports, but yeah.
The transports are not your purchase. No, yeah, that's right. The transports are not the purchase. They're just moved up there. Great big stack here. All kinds of mess going on here. It just does not look great for the allies in Southern Asia here, Southeast Asia. They are, yeah, they're all eating sushi now. All right, okay. So that brings us to USA. All right, USA, turn 3, coming up. And as usual, we forgot to mention the amount of money that Japan makes. Japan ends up this round with 65?
65.
Yes, 65 IPCs. So a total of, it's sitting at a total of 60 for land controlled and 5 extra for the money aisles. All right. U.S. round 3. Purchase will be 3 bombers, 2 fighters, aircraft carrier, exactly 72 IPCs. For combats, I had to chip everything properly. Turns out I have 8 transports, which makes sense. I have 6 up here, and I had 2 down here. That brought everything up. So that's 8 transports, fully loaded, full total of 18 units. These 7 infantry are paired with these 7 other units, and then these 2 infantry are just alone together on a transport. It's all coming into Morocco, attacking that 1 Italian tank. Yeah, these guys just aren't represented very well. It's kind of small on the map, so we're going to try and just push it all in there. What's really fun here is the Japanese player forgot to protect these juicy transports. The only thing protecting them is a destroyer. So my planes are coming 1, 2, 3. Wait, sorry, they're coming 1, 2, 3, and they'll have to land here or here. The carriers can come pick them up in the non-combat phase. Those are the only fights. Oh no, we're not going to forget it again. This time we're bombing southern France. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's an easy one. So those are the 3 fights. Let's see how they turn out. When I tell you that Japan is a headache, I mean Japan is a headache. So yeah, we were successful, but at what cost? I mean, the fact that he had 1 defending destroyer and it got 2 hits on the 2 fighters. That's just brutal. And likewise, this 1 defending destroyer also took out a fighter. So I just lost, USA just lost 30 IPCs to Japan's also 30 IPCs. But man, USA's feel a lot worse, let me tell you. Over here, bombing raid went off without a hitch, fully successful. But he even managed to get the 1 hit on the tank here. So yeah, I gotta say, the Axis player is rolling very successfully. Alright, we move to non-combat. The bomber lands in the UK. The entire fleet from Hawaii moves up to catch this tactical bomber. And this fighter, well, this tactical bomber and this fighter, I should say. Purchase placed. Carrier, 2 fighters, 3 bombers. We're at 53 plus a bonus of 20, puts us at 73 for USA. China with a 2 infantry purchase. Now comes the deliberation. We stay put. We do nada. Not a thing other than place these 2 guys and collect 5 IPCs. That's the move for them. Alright, on to UK. On the Europe side, 30 IPCs. Airbase costing 15. 8 damage fixed on the UK industrial complex. Let's bring it to 10. You know what? Scratch that. Scratch that. Ugh, we buy a destroyer. Alright. Destroyer, which is also a destroyer, transport, airbase. And just a piddly 6 IPC purchase of 2 infantry. Alright, we'll be back with the combats. Again, just choosing to hunker down there, so no fights on that side. Here, we're doing a bit of a zesty one. So the bomber was here, it's moving 1, 2, 3, and the 1 infantry was in Kenya with this transport. So we were offloading into British Somaliland with 1 infantry and a bomber. That's all I can bring there. Annoyingly, these 2 fighters just cannot reach. So these 2 fighters, I don't know why they're not in that combat, they should be, will go in and take Alexandria. Mind you, Britain's bonus, its only bonus on the Europe side, is that it maintains all of its original territory. So that means any territory that you don't own, and if you're able to get it, is worth 5, even though neither one of these is worth anything. If I get them both, I'm up 5 IPCs. Go figure. Such a British prestige thing. That's how the cookie crumbles for this one, but we're playing out of box. We're gonna do it. Alright. This is fun. Let's see how this goes. Sad we did not get it. We chose to lose the infantry because the transport can just grab it next turn. Bombers are just far too much of a premium. When similarly in Alexandria, we took it, but we did lose our infantry. be back with the non-combat moves. Non-combats. The bomber lands here. This infantry moves down 1 in that direction. Those guys stay. Oh! This guy can come. He honestly doesn't do anything there at all. He does nothing there, so he might as well go there. The Canadian fleet came down, offloaded a man and a tank in Gibraltar, and 2 planes, 2 fighters also landed there in Gibraltar. And as stated before, everything stays there, just like that. You might notice that his Japanese fleet is sitting on a convoy zone here, but for the first time in the game, the Germans aren't. But that doesn't really matter because we don't have this bonus. We're just going to be exactly at 30 IPCs. Consistently 30 IPCs as UK Europe. Alright. Moving on to the Italian turn after we see the convoy disruption here. And we'll place our 2 infantry in Egypt. We'll place our airbase in Gibraltar. We'll place our transport destroyer here. 3 IPCs. Leaving here. So we have a total of 5. He convoyed away 3 successfully. So that leaves us with 2 IPCs left over. How fun. Alright. 30 IPCs, 2 IPCs, purchases are placed, everything's done. Italy, round 3. Italy, round 3. 2 subs, 2 infantry, 1 artillery, costing 22 IPCs. Battles include these 2 infantry and 1 artillery and 1 bomber going into the tank and the mech. This transport offloading 1 man onto Cyprus, just absolutely trolling that British bonus. And I mean, the British player is trolling as it is. Forgot to move these guys into Egypt. Forgot to take 2 planes and go 1-2 and take out this transport. People will likely notice that. Experienced players will notice that. Absolute lack of micro, as they say in the MLG world. Alright, so that's the battles. That's just that and this. That goes off without a hitch, and this has to be rolled. This is how combat ended up. So yeah, he wiped out the tank and the mech, but miraculously they both got a hit in return. So he's left with 1 artillery there. That moves him to non-combat. That's a wrap for the Italian turn. Oh, I see. So this artillery moves up here. That's there. He places 2 subs there. The bomber landed here. What else happened? The guys from France moved down to southern France, trying to set up a bulwark against that Nice invasion, the possible southern France invasion. Alright, that's a wrap for Italy. We'll finish up ANZAC and France, round 3. 25 IPCs for ANZAC is carrier, sub, and a man. For combats, we have this destroyer going 1, 2, 3 into the transport, and we have the 2 Egyptian Australians going into Alexandria. Overwhelming success, utter failure. New units placed. All original territories plus the islands, 10 plus a bonus of 5. 15 IPCs to the Australia-New Zealand cause. France. I don't have a lot to do with France, so we might as well just slam this into that after all. Just let's cause as much damage as we can in the Mediterranean. Utter French failure in this round, so we went 1, 2, attacked, destroyed a sub, lost both destroyers, and decided that we had had enough of that smoke, so we retreated 1 back. For non-combat, we move this guy, that guy stays put, and this fighter joins the frenzy in Gibraltar. Alright. that is a wrap for turn 3. Round 4. Here we are. We have a German purchase of a carrier, 2 destroyers, 6 infantry, and 3 artillery coming to... How many IPCs is that?
Let me check.
All right. Okay, well, he's checking that. Purchase is a little bit... Anyways, while he's checking that, we're just going to do a quick rehash of where the board is at, where the game is at. So we have the Americans made a landing in Morocco, a fleet built up here. We have a couple destroyers, a cruiser, and a battleship belonging to the British. They're protecting a transport. We have, of course, the 8 American transports protected by a cruiser, 2 destroyers, and a loaded carrier. We have the makings of the Kriegsmarine here. The German fleet is, well, it's bigger than it is in most games, and that's concerning for yours truly, the Allied player. Italy here is got a cruiser, 2 subs, and it's kind of protecting France more than its own lands. It has a transport here that took Cyprus. Of course, we have the mobile Russian units that took Iraq last turn. They're collecting a +3 bonus there. Africa is pretty mild, other than these few Italian units and a few French and British units here. We, of course, have the push into Russia that just began over the last few turns. We have big Russian stacks here ready to defend their motherland, and more coming from Siberia. We have the Japanese shoving the Chinese and the Pacific British into a corner. We have... Honestly, we don't know yet exactly what we're doing up there. Hopefully we can make something out of this. Hopefully we can make something out of the nothing there. And we have the Japanese holding key locations, and ANZAC slowly trying to build itself up. Or the fly that's decided to die on our table. And yeah, we're just kind of building ourselves up, and we're just going to see where it goes from here. This game tends to get really interesting at this point, so let's see what Germany decides to do for its round 4 combat moves. And yes, the purchase was 62 IPC. This is a 62 IPC purchase. For combats, 1 infantry moves from Leningrad into Archangel. The infantry that was in Belarus moves down to Bryansk, and one of the infantry from Ukraine moves into Rostov, taking a total of 4 IPCs there. In the Mediterranean, 2 fighters come from southern Italy, and 1 bomber and 2 fighters come from western Germany to attack these 2 French cruisers. The 3 remaining bombers do a bombing raid in Gibraltar. He'll either be doing the naval base or air base. I imagine it'll be the naval base, as it'll restrict the movement of my fleet. I am going to send my 3 fighters, the 1 French and 2 British, up for an air battle. Hopefully we can knock those bombers out of the sky and prevent them from doing that. I do believe those are the fights. So these are the only 2 fights that need to be rolled. And over here is just, those are just walk-ins. So, let's see how those turn out. Sad for the Allies. This is how it turns out. I lifted up my fighters to do an intercepting air battle against those bombers. The bombers knocked out one of my fighters, and both my fighters and anti-aircraft, rolling a total of 6 die, all whiffed. So, and then the bombers got away scot-free after causing max damage on the naval base. Right there. Over here, the 2 cruisers, very clearly at the bottom of the Mediterranean. They did take 1 fighter with them, and these guys walked in. No problem, as we said before. So, this is how everything looks now as we move into the non-combat. And this is how it ends up. So, consolidated a huge force into Ukraine, moved 3 tanks that were available, and the other 6 infantry to follow up. Kind of surrounded these guys here. So we'll see what we can do with that. The really interesting part is that these 3 bombers had nowhere to land but here. So that's kind of juicy. He is protecting southern Italy with a force of fighters and mech infantry here, and building a very uncommon but powerful and concerning German navy there. So it's a whole bunch of submarines, some destroyers, and a loaded carrier. Of course, he's got his planes there. He put his purchase of 2 destroyers and aircraft carrier is right there, and 3 infantry in Leningrad and 3 infantry in Ukraine. Where did the 3 artillery go?
France.
And the 3 artillery end up in France. There we are. There you have it. All right, that moves us to Russia. Oh, before we move to Russia, we should just mention that Germany is on the 56 slider, on the 56 number there on the income tracker. But it has the bonus of 5 for Norway, Denmark, and another bonus of 5 for owning Leningrad. So this puts it at 66 IPCs for its turn 5 purchase. All right, now we can move on to Russia. Turn 4. For purchase, Russia purchases 8 mech infantry. And for combat, Russia takes 1 infantry out of Moscow, the 3 planes from Northwest Persia, and the 1 fighter from Moscow all go there. So we'll just be back with how that ends up. As expected, we wiped the guy out, but we also got to take the territory, so that is great. Alright, now we move on to non-combats. And this is how it ends up. The guy in Bryansk stays because he fought. The guys in Smolensk moved into the capital. Everyone that was in the capital moved down with the planes into Tambov, what are the province directly between the 2 victory cities. And the slow march west continues, and the Iraqi mobile force moved into Egypt. All right. That brings us to Japan. Round 4. Quick side note, we will mobilize all 8 mechanized infantry into the capital. Japan round 4 with 65 IPCs has purchased 7 submarines, 2 transports, and 3 infantry. They are sitting tight up there. This fleet is sitting tight. Everything's sitting tight except for 1 destroyer, a fighter, and a attack bomber are taking on the ANZAC destroyer. And up there, this 1 infantry moved and took Kansu. So very, very low on the combat, but I imagine he's going to, or Japan is going to have massive non-combat movements preparing for its 5th round. All right, we'll be back with how this little fight goes. And of course, total wipe, not even a hit back, and also just a walk-in. As predicted, a massive non-combat move, and consolidated the fleet home in Sea-Zone 6, placed all of his subs and 2 transports there. Here he's knocking on Calcutta's door. He's got Japan just has a massive invasion force, including these transports here that are going to be fully loaded, all ready to push into Calcutta. And he has the Chinese backed into a corner up there. So that is where he's at. Everything is placed. This is how it looks. We'll be moving on to USA's turn next. I believe he's sitting at 54 IPCs. Could that even be right? 51 IPCs on the income tracker, plus a $5 bonus, bringing him to...
You say 30, 35?
35.
That's 60, 61. Yeah.
35 plus 26 is 61, yes. That makes more sense. You should be way up here at 61. My goodness, we haven't been doing that tracker properly. So he's at 61 plus a $5, plus a 5 IPC income. Because of the money isles, he has all 4 of them down here. So that should set Japan at 66 IPCs. Exact same spot as Germany. So, very in sync. Very, very prosperous on both sides of the board. Bit concerning for me. We'll see what we can do about it. All right, USA, turn 4. USA turn 4 purchase is 2 bombers, 3 destroyers, 4 subs. No combats on the Pacific side. On the Europe side, we took everything from Morocco, moved into Algeria. We took all except for 1 transport, and we'll do an offload so that this cruiser gets a bombard shot. Not that we really need it, but we really want to make sure we get all 3 hits. The 2 fighters that start in the C zone on that carrier go 1, 2, 3, attacking this C zone right here. And the bomber from the UK also comes, makes it here in 5 moves. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 moves into C zone 95 there, giving it 2 movement points left. Only landing space eligible is Malta, and then these fighters have to go back on the carrier. But yeah, that is how that ends up. I'll explain why I left a transport behind. It really depends on how this battle goes. All right, we will roll those out. Adrian will have to decide if these German fighters will be scrambling or not. The fighters are indeed scrambling, so it's these 2 fighters and bomber versus this cruiser and 3 fighters. The subs can be ignored. Subs can't partake in air battles where there's no destroyers present. My planes can't attack his subs, obviously, because I don't have a destroyer present, and subs can never attack air units. So this fight is strictly between the 2 fighters, the bomber on the Allied side, and the cruiser and 3 fighters on the Axis side. Right. We'll come back with how these 2 turned out. And these are how they turned out. So I lost both fighters and bomber, but he lost 2 fighters. He elected to take the fighters and not the cruiser. And here we took out his 3 bombers handily. We only lost 1 infantry. The hilarious thing is I rolled everything that can be rolled here. I rolled my cruiser offshore bombardment, and I rolled all these units, and I only scored 3 hits, just enough to take them out. So hopefully in the future, hopefully that was just the bad rolls for this army they're done. So from now on they'll roll statistical, because that was atrocious rolling, but they got the job done. All right, that moves us to non-combat. Oh, and of course, because he got the hit, that one guy that was standing right here, he's gone. That is why this transport stayed behind, because now it would just be an extra transport that doesn't have any American troops to carry. So what we can do now is just send them home in the non-combat. All right, we will be back with how the non-combats end up. All right, we've come to the sad conclusion that we are in a pickle here. So we had to retreat. This puts us behind, but you know what? We're just gonna keep on slogging through and making up for it. Also, these 3 bombers need to go to London. So if you're wondering how that works, they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that puts these 3 bombers directly in London there. All right. And of course, this all moved like that. The transport went that way. America's sitting at 54 IPCs with a bonus of 20, brings it to 74 IPCs. But I did keep $1 on this purchase.
75?
Yeah, I had 73 IPCs, and this purchase cost 72. So America spent 72, kept $1, gained a territory in Algeria over there, bringing it up to 74 IPCs on the IP tracker, on the IPC tracker. 54 IPCs, I should say, plus 20, plus 1. 75 IPCs, all right. Oh, and I'll just place these. All right, fresh units placed. Also, the mech info that was there, we slid it over into the Eastern United States. We picked up by that transport later. All right, yes, China. How many IPCs do we have with China? 5 IPCs, oh, wonderful. All right, that is 1 lone infantryman on the mobilization zone. China has no possible combats, so we're just going to move everything here and place the guy there. We still own that, so thankfully our fighter can land there with us. So, all right, I moved up. The guy's placed. China had 5 IPCs, spent 3 on this infantry, keeping 2, plus the 4 territories it owns is 6 IPCs for its turn 5 purchase. UK next. On the Pacific side with 2 IPCs, we purchase nothing. On the UK side, on the Europe side, I should say, we purchase 30 IPCs worth of stuff. 5 repairs, 2 facilities, 2 infantry, minor industrial complex, and a transport. On the UK Pacific side, no fights, no battles. On the Europe side, absolutely hog wild. Let's go over it. So the destroyer that was up here came 1, 2, 3 to knock out this blocker. One fighter goes 1, 2. The other fighter goes 1, 2, 3. And this whole fleet goes 1, 2, 3. The tank and the infantry offloading in Sicily. The 2 fighters and 1 bomber move 1, 2 to take out this infantry, artillery, and bomber in Tobruk. This transport started here, went 1, loaded up an infantry and an artillery here in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, and then went 2 and offloaded them into Alexandria. And this destroyer just slides up 1 to get rid of the Italian transport. And everything is just staying hunkered down on the home front there. All right. Let's see how these turn out. This is how it ends up looking. So we took Sicily, no problem, because we won the sea battle there. He lost his 2 submarines and a cruiser. Believe it or not, I rolled all of this, got no hits the first time, and then his cruiser got a hit, so I took it on took the damage on my battleship, and then I rolled again and got all the hits, all of them, and then he scored yet another hit on his cruiser, so I had to lose a destroyer as well. So we're left with a destroyer, a cruiser, and a damaged battleship protecting this. This fighter will come and land on the American carrier. We took out this blocker, no problem. That fighter lands there. We lost 1 fighter, taking out the bomber protected by the infantry and artillery in Tobruk, and we lost 1 infantry taking back Alexandria. So that is, oh, and of course we took out the transport without a hitch. All right, that is how everything looks. Now, artillery moves up, artillery stays. Everything that did something has to stay. This bomber had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, is landing there. And the fighter went 3, 4 onto the carrier, as well as the other fighter that went there. So some friendly carrier action there. This transport came down and brought them here. And of course that fighter landed up there. We discussed that. Okay, so our big question, oh, and of course this infantry moved 1 east. So our biggest question is, what do we do about this? Okay, so we did decide to retreat. Just looking down the barrel of this gun just doesn't look like it's something, you know, if we don't retreat, I fear that he will just slam everything in there and we will have nothing left. So I know this is giving up a capital, but I think it is the best move, or I mean, maybe we describe it as the least worst move. And in doing so, I changed my mind about this bomber. So originally it had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, but now it has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to Iraq. Okay, that is all she wrote for UK turn 5. We have this submarine that we need to roll out for convoying. On the UK side, nothing has changed. It's just a steady 30 IPC income stream for the UK Europe side. Seems to be the case for the entire game at this point, aside from the first round there. And over here, Adrian will roll the dice right now, and then we can immediately show what it's going to be. Yeah, so exactly $3 negative, so just another 2. That's actually best case scenario for me. He's taking away his own money. It would have been far better for him if his sub was gone for the Japanese player. But alas, nay. Good for me though. So this territory we're standing on is worth 2, and that's all the income that we can collect on this side. So that adds 2 to what we had in the bank already, because we weren't able to spend just 2 IPCs. 4 IPCs to the UK Pacific economy. Time for Italy, round 4. Of course, forgetting to mention that we, these belong over here, that we place our purchase here and our minor industrial complex here, and of course those 5 repairs went to the 6 damage of the naval base, but that applies at the start of the turn. That's why we were able to move our fleet 1, 2, 3, but not on the American turn because America goes before Britain, so it's really strategic for the Axis to bomb that naval base, as we have learned here. Okay. Italy, turn 4. With 16 IPCs, Italy purchases 2 infantry and a fighter, and no combats to declare. So we move into the non-combat. Okay. Italy ends its turn with... Did you want to move this artillery?
No.
Okay. Artillery stays there. Tank stays there. The Italians in southern France slid 1 east to northern Italy. The 3 infantry and 1 artillery slid down. This tank, I'm assuming, was in southern France? I didn't see it there. Yeah. Slid down, and the port purchase went there as well. The Cypriot Italian, obviously, must stand there and do nothing. Well, it's not that he's doing nothing, I guess. He is taking away that sweet UK Europe bonus. So it's not nothing. It really is something. All right. So that brings us to ANZAC and France. And a quick mention that Italy actually still has all of its original territories and is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 15 IPCs to the Italian coffers. ANZAC, with also 15 IPCs, purchases a transport and a destroyer. A quick combat of 1, 2, 3 for this destroyer and submarine. That'll be the only combat. This destroyer got the hit back, but we've elected to keep the sub alive and well rather than the destroyer. The reason being he has no other destroyers in the South Pacific here. They're all up at the home island. So my ANZAC submarine will get to be doing some juicy convoying here. Place purchase, moved everything up to Queensland. That's it. I believe ANZAC just collects another 15 IPCs. The French units will simply move 1 and 1. And I think that's all that can move on for the French turn, seeing as the other 2 infantry are just stuck in London. That brings us to Germany round 5. Germany round 5. Germany's purchase consists of 3 fighters, 6 infantry, and 3 tanks, totaling 66 IPCs. 66 IPCs. For combats, we have some spicy combats. So, fighter comes 1, 2, sinks the transport. 1 sub and 1 fighter slip out to destroy the destroyer. Oh, the irony. The air fleet, the Luftwaffe, the remainder of it, comes here and attacks this battleship cruiser destroyer that are protecting the transport there. And I believe the fighter, or the 1 fighter that was in, one of the fighters that was in southern France. Was there, how many fighters there? Just 1 fighter was in southern France, southern Italy, went 1, 2, 3 to attack that lone transport there. So sinking a lot of transports potentially here. 1 tank comes 1, 2, taking Northwest Persia for a bonus, and these 2 infantry split off that main stack, took Volgograd and the Caucasus. 1 infantry taking Smolensk, and 6 infantry attacking. Oh, he's already acting as though he's fallen. And 1 infantry, 6 German infantry attacking 1 Russian infantry there in Bryansk. So let's see how those combats end up. Everything going as expected here. Those 6 infantry getting their hit and getting none back. This taken handedly. This goes into German hands. Of course, transport sunk, destroyer sunk, sinking the destroyer, the submarine back in return. And here, a miracle for the Allies. The entire Luftwaffe, it's gone. That whole 3 attack bombers and strat bomber. The Allies have successfully shot down all German bombers for now. Alright, so those are the combats. That slides us into non-combat. This is how it all ends up. So a large force being built up here. 3 infantry produced there. 3 infantry produced there. 3 tanks produced there. 3 fighters produced there. That's all how it is. Big consolidation in Ukraine. Reinforcements coming in western Ukraine. The men in Bryansk. Everything that could go into northern Italy has gone into northern Italy, and the fleet consolidates itself right there. All right, I believe that this destroyer doesn't belong on the board at all anymore. That should just be gone. Okay, and the fighter landed here. That brings us to Russia. Round 5. Russian purchase turn 5, 2 mech infantry, 7 infantry. Combats are 3 infantry, a fighter and attack bomber attacking the 1 German infantry in Rostov. 8 mech infantry came down from Russia, 1, 2, and 2 fighters. I need to stop putting my hand right in front of the camera. It makes the focus mess up. I apologize for that. Try and keep it further away here. So we got 8 mech infantry and 2 fighters attacking the 1 German infantry in Stalingrad. And yeah, just these 2 fights essentially. Our sub moved from season 127 to 125, attacking the German sub. He'll likely submerge, but it is what it is. All right, let's see how those turn out. And as usual, we had forgotten to, just before we show how the Russian combats ended up here, and also there's a mulligan here on the Russian combats. These tanks had to come take this stuff. We forgot to do German income, as we so often do. So obviously we took this, but on the German turn, he had these. These are all bonuses. So Germany ends up on 61 at the bonus tracker, at the income tracker, but ends up with a bonus of 22. So they have 83 IPCs for their turn 6 purchase. Absolutely terrifying stuff. Now for the Russian combat, these both went off without a hitch. So that goes Russia's direction. That's quite awesome. And on the other hand, these tanks, I'm actually going to mulligan that as well and do it this way. This is a very vital thing that I did. This is, if you're wondering why the Russian tanks and mech infantry went to Cairo at all, it was because there's some very good juicy bonuses to be grabbed here for the Russians. So we have to take those if we want to stay in the game. This is the first time I'm trying this. Let's see how that works out for us. So we'll move to the non-combat now. This is how everything ends up. 6 infantry move that way, 12 move this way. We keep a stack of infantry and artillery here. Our purchase is here in the back. All the airplanes end up here. Tank in Tobruk, mech infantry in Ethiopia, and a tank moving back towards Iraq. That is it. Russia is sitting at, it's sitting at 31 IPCs. Let me quickly count, make sure that's correct. A gross miscounting. With this all said and done, Russia is sitting at 25 IPCs on the income tracker. Bonuses of 3 per original pro-Axis German or Italian territories. So that's 3, 3, and 3. So that's 9. So we're sitting at 25 plus 9. So not to you. 34 IPCs. 34 IPCs go to the Russian coffers. Japan, round 5. Coming up. Japan, round 5. Purchases 3 submarines, another 2 submarines, 2 destroyers, fighter, transport, coming out to 63 IPCs, leaving Japan with 3 IPCs left over. Combat is hog wild this round. 2 fighters leave the main island and attack that destroyer. The fleet moves 1, 2, 3 into my fleet. A loaded transport comes 1, 2, 3 and takes Midway. 1 man steps out of Burma into Calcutta, taking a victory city and capital. So that is a big deal. And we have a massive fight on our hands here. So for both this fight and the Pacific fight, we're actually going to pull out the battle board and we're going to show the rolls, because these are 2 major fights. So we want to show a little bit of dice rolling, don't we? Let's do that. All right. Before we do the big fights, we just rolled out this fight, and huzzah! A destroyer spec ops over here, knocking 2 fighters out of the sky and staying afloat. Oh, this captain is a highly decorated captain. All right, of course, this is not a tutorial video on how to play Axis and Allies. We're just going to go right into the rolls. There's tons of videos out there for that, if that's something that you're interested in learning, we're just going right into the attacks here. So the very interesting thing, so I'm casting a lot of shade here. Let's see if we can put it at a better angle so everyone can see. So the really damaging thing is that these submarines are going to get sneak attacks against all of this. And these two transports that are fully loaded, oh man, they're just praying that my fleet is as capable as that destroyer was. So let's start with the... How many sneak attacks are there? Should be 7?
7.
7 sneak attacks coming at us.
3 hits.
3 hits. 1, 2, and there's one in the back there. That is a hit. So 3 hits. Flip each carrier for that. Leaves him with 1 at 2, 4 at 3, and 2 at 4. Oof. 5 hits came in at me. Alright, I gotta pick 5 more things to lose here. Alright, so we have picked the submarine. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and flip the battleship for 5 hits. So carriers are gone, sub is gone, battleship's damaged. Now we get to roll back. 1 at 1, 3 at 3, 3 at 2, and 4 at 4. Coming in hot. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How do you know which ones are your playing?
So this is pretty simple here. So when you roll in Access Now, is you have to roll all your dice together. That's part of the rules. So you have to take max hits possible. So I have 2 hits at 4 here. That means 1 came, 1 you can choose as the defender or as the attacker, whichever, as the other side. You can say that 1, 4 came from the battleship. And so you can choose to lose a sub off of that 1 hit from the battleship. And then the other 4, obviously, because it obviously is from a fighter, it has to be, because that's as many as I have there. You would have to pick something other than a sub. Because I don't have a destroyer, my planes cannot fire upon his submarines. And likewise with the 3s here, right? He can just easily say that 3 is from one of my cruisers, not from my tactical bombers. So you can choose to lose a sub off of that 3 as well. So only with this 4 here can he not choose, or one of these 2 4s can he not choose. It's very complicated, but that's how it is in the rules. We don't want to get too into it, but he's going to pick his casualties now. All right, tilting his battleship and losing 3 subs, we said?
No, wait.
Oh, tilting the carrier, all right, okay.
Let me actually just lose the carrier
Completely, that'll give you 2 subs back. Yeah. All right. Oh, we're going to have to figure out the lighting of this room to carry on these videos. It's unfortunate that the light is at our backs, but it is what it is for now. All right. So that's what he's got coming at me. All right, so that'll be 5 sneak attacks at me, please.
6.
Sorry, I guess 6 sneak attacks? Is it 6 sneak attacks?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, it's 6. 6 sneak attacks. Here they come. Down the pipe. Oh, blessings. Oh, amazing. All right, the rest rolls. 3 more hits. We'll take that. We will slide our 2 cruisers and our tactical bomber into the casualty zone. Okay, rolling 3 for 3 and 4 for 4. Now we're talking. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. We're just going to quickly figure out what can be taken for what. Come back with that. All right, casualties amount to 3 subs, destroyer, fighter, and obviously mine. So that all gets removed. All right, next round of combat. Do you press or do you retreat?
I press.
Press, obviously. Obviously press. The sneak attacks coming in. Oh, 1 hit on the back. We count the ones on the back. If it's in any way held up on the edges or just slanted in any way, that's a dead dice. It gets re-rolled. But if it's on the back wall there, we count it. It's just our way of doing it. 2 more hits. All right, so we knocked out the battleship and 2 fighters. So the battleship obviously doesn't get to roll back because it got the sneak attack in. So I just have 3 at 4 left. The only good thing for me here is that any hit I get here has to be taken on expensive units. Can't lose subs. All right, here we go. Oh, amazing. That's incredible. All right. And just because of the nature of how this goes, these transports and supporting troops are just gone, because no matter how this ends up, those subs are staying there. So I might as well just pull these off. 3 and a 4, he got the 1 hit. Now, I get one more hit? Big question. I can! Huzzah! Alright. Battle is over. A battleship and 3 submarines left in Sea Zone. Sea Zone 9. Alright, just have to climb over the tower here. Sea Zone 9. Alright. So we'll just put those there right now. And then what we're going to do now is put the China battle on the board, just in the same place. Alright, battle happening in Shenxi on the battle board. So, counting it up, it's 5 Japanese infantry and 1 artillery, supported by 5 fighters. And do you know how many tactical bombers this is? It looks like 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 of these tactical bombers actually have to join the 3 line. We'll take that off and we'll put a tactical bomber on it if you have one. Due to the combined arms rule, every tactical bomber supported by a fighter or tank fires at 4 on the attack. There are 5 fighters and 7 tac bombers, so only 5 of the 7 can attack at 4. The other 2 must join the fighters on the 3 line. So, and you know, I'm not even 100% sure how many infantry I have here. It is 16 infantry and 1 fighter defending Shenxi. All right, first rolls incoming. Rolling for the land units first. Scoring 2 hits. Now rolling all the aircraft. Scoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits, bringing the total to 9 hits. That is not great for us. So we'll pull 9 infantry off into the casualty zone. Going to roll 8 and then 8 again. Oh, that's the worst, but you know, maybe I deserve that for all of your misses on the subs earlier. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Really bad dice. Come on, don't fail me now. Another 8. So 16 at 2. Oh, 2. How lovely. Look at that. We got 2 hits, everyone. Yay. And then the 1 fighter. Oh, that's a dead dice. Jumps out. It's dead dice. Hey, 3 hits. Would you look at that? 3 hits. And compared to his 9. Laughable. All right. Well, Adrian has just revealed what did we get? 3 hits? Yeah, I got 3 hits. Right, so that goes away. Adrian has just revealed that his intention here was to do just a raid, but the dice really loved him so much that he's considering pressing the attack here.
Infantry do that?
Should be 7. Should be 7, yes. Yeah, that makes sense. There's 2, 2, and 3. So 7. So I have 8 dice left, so you can press. But you know, the dice are going to come back for me this time. Now they're that's going to be 7 hits. You know, that's guaranteed now, right? The retreat bugle, whatever that sounds like, to the Japanese army has been sounded. They are going to pull back and not risk losing any planes. They're gonna quit while they're ahead, type thing. All right, so the Japanese army retreats. We'll put this all back on the map. And of course, because some guys came from Kwaichao, they all retreat down to Kwaichao. And we put the planes there already as well. All right, those are all the combats, I believe. So we'll move to non-combat. Non-combat and purchase placement. So subs, destroyer, fighter go there. The bombers that were here, I'll try to hold this steady for you guys. The bombers that were here flew up to the mainland. Transports, 2 carriers, 1 fighter, and all this stuff. A whole bunch of stuff came to the Caroline Islands. And some tanks left, and big consolidation in the middle in Kwaichao there. That's pretty much it. The main thing is that India is taken. It has fallen. This is that means all the money that was in the Calcutta coffers goes to Japan. All $2, exactly. So that's, oh shucks. That's pretty rough. Japan is sitting at 65, a bonus of 5 for these islands, a bonus of 5 for Calcutta brings it to 75, plus the $2 that were in India, bringing it to 77 IPCs.
The 3 from the buy.
Plus the 3 left over from the buy. So I was thinking 77 plus 3, exactly 80 IPCs. Oh my goodness, Germany and Japan, both with terrifying purchasing power for round 6. All right, we move on to USA. USA, turn 5. American purchase consisting of 3 plus 2 equals 5 destroyers, 2 subs, and 2 fighters. This all comes to 72 IPCs of the 75 that America has. So that means that we keep 3 IPCs. All right, let's move on to combat. Combats are as follows. The 2 bombers that were in Western United States go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7. Kind of right in the middle of the Atlantic. And then these 3 bombers came from the UK. The fleet grabbed everything it could and went 1, 2 into this sea zone, offloading everything into Greece. So Greece is ours. That's just taken for free. So we took that from the Italians. Italy goes down 2. America goes up 2. And on this side, destroyer comes down 1. These 2 destroyers stay. 1 destroyer and 4 subs slam into the 3 remaining subs and damage battleship. We'll be back with how that ends up. Abysmal rolling I've ever seen bombers perform. I wish I had rolled it on tape now in hindsight. So my 5 bombers came in here, rolled all 5 dice, got 1 hit, and then he rolled his stuff back and got 4 hits. So I have 1 bomber left over. That was just a casual 48 IPC loss for me to an 8 IPC loss for him. He obviously took 1 destroyer as a hit, because if he took the hit on the carrier, then his fighters are gone. So the Kriegsmarine is floating strong still. But success over here. Yay. So took out the transport and took out the 3 subs and the battleship, all at the cost of 2 of my subs. So that's better. Alright, we'll move into non-combat. For non-combats, the destroyers form a blockade from the Hawaiian Islands. Still sitting tight in Greece. Transport moved down and offloaded this guy. The transport's not long for this Earth, but at least 1 mech infantry made it onto the African mainland. Bomber landed there. I think we discussed that. 2 subs placed there. Way less than what I wanted. 5 destroyers and 2 fighters placed here. Far more than I wanted. For income, we are collecting 56 IPCs as America, plus 20 brings us to 76. But I kept some money back. I kept 3. So that should equal 79, right? 79 IPCs for US of A. Move on to China. China has 6 IPCs, purchasing 2 infantry. Right, for China, turn 5, they just moved 1, 2, and 3, captured those, moved everything back into here, placed the 2 new guys, so 6 infantry and a fighter here. Those are out there. Collecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 IPCs for their round 6 purchase. UK. Just reviewed the numbers, the old archives, and it turns out that India actually had 4 IPCs. So India will get, not India, but Japan will get an extra 2 to what we said. What did we say? We had said 80? 80, so 82 IPCs go to the Japanese coffers. All right, UK, round 5. Let's see what we can do. What shenanigans can we get up to here? The UK purchase on the Europe side. So we're getting 12 damage, which fixes this 18 damage factory, bringing it to 6 damage. All right, so that goes away. And a destroyer and a fighter, bringing us to full purchase of 30 IPCs. Moving on to combats. For combat, we had the transport with the man and tank from Sicily go 1, 2, and the 2 fighters on this carrier went 1, 2, and they can go 3, 4, or wherever they really want, but yeah, 3, 4 here to land and attack this infantry and fighter here. The 2 infantry that have been here, that we've constantly been knocking over because we lean over them, loaded on the transport, went 1, 2, and offloaded and took British Somaliland back. So if this fight goes off without a hitch, we get our bonus money back. That'll be truly exciting. This bomber moves 1, and this fighter comes 1, 2, 3, and can land 4, or 4, whichever way he wants to go. Taking out that German tank. Everything else will move in non-combat. So let's see how these turn out for us. Okay, well, we succeeded, but I mean, we lost 3 fighters this round, and that's terrible. That's our whole, as much income as we were making. So we lost the infantry and 2 fighters. That German fighter just was not letting go of Cyprus, not without a fight. And the German tank knocked out a fighter as well. So the Germans are in it for revenge right now. This one off without a hitch. So now we have to do non-combats. And because I lost these 2 fighters that were going to come back and protect this fleet, I don't thought that he has much to attack it with, but he could get lucky because he's getting consistently lucky, and he's about to make lots of money. He's got 2 Italian fighters and 3 German fighters. We should probably bring this battleship, even though it's damaged, and this destroyer in to just protect that fleet. This has to land, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And this guy comes in, and I think that's actually it for the non-combats, except for these guys that come in as well. Oh, you know what else, though? Just noticing. The fighter that's here can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aha. Should always remember that because that's the opening move of it's one of the opening moves of the game, so. There we go. All right. Yeah, no, we're firmly, and because we're that kind of protected now, we're going to come 1, 2, so that battleship can repair. So, there we go. All right. Yeah, I don't normally show everything that I'm doing for non-combat, but for some reason I did that this time. All right, so now we move on to the Italian turn after we collect some income. We're sitting at 30 plus a bonus of 5. 35 IPCs for UK Europe, placing our new purchase right there. All right, UK's done, collects 35. Italy, round 5. Side note yet again, with all the stuff happening, it's a big board game. This sub convoyed 2 IPCs away. I rolled that out, and we just forgot to deduct that. So those same 2 IPCs that we added from mistaking the IPC number here, just those get cut off again because of this. So Japan, for its turn 6 purchase, is right back to 80. I believe Germany is as well, right at 80 as well, hey? No, they're at 80 something. They're at 82 or 3. Anyway, yeah, big money is going here. But yeah, at least 2 last. Huzzah. All right, Italy, turn 5. For purchase, we have 3 infantry and 1 tank, equaling exactly 15 IPCs. For combat, we have a fighter going 1, 2, and taking out this lone transport. That goes off without a hitch. This are our artillery retreats with 2 anti-aircraft guns to Yugoslavia. Fighter lands, 2 infantry get placed here, or is it 2 infantry got placed? And 1 infantry and 2 infantry and a tank get placed, but that's the max that factory can do. So then the remaining 1 infantry goes to Northern Italy. That is a wrap for Italy. Collecting 12 IPCs, we move on to ANZAC. An ANZAC purchase, 15 IPCs, spending 12 and keeping 3 on 2 subs. Everything that can go in here is going in here. So we got 3 fighters going 1, 2, 3, and a cruiser and a destroyer and an aircraft carrier, all going into these 2 carriers, battleship, and 1 scrambling fighter. He's very undoubtedly going to scramble that. And this sub goes 1, 2 and attacks this sub and destroyer. And if I get really lucky there, then I sink those 2 transports as well. So let's see if I can pull these 2 fights off. Really sketchy. An insane rolling situation here. So first off, darn it, I forgot to go 1, 2, 3 and take Java. He wouldn't have been able to get it back. Well, I guess because he won this, he could take it back, so whatever. This guy won. This guy did it. That's incredible. Taking out 2 transports, and we were supposed to take out these ones. I came in with everything I came in, rolled my 5 dice, all misses. So that ended up going terribly. The only thing I took out was the 1 fighter. That's it. In the second round of combat there, in the subsequent rounds of combat. So that's how it looks now on the ANZAC turn. For non-combats, I guess, no non-combats, we just do this, I guess, and maybe put this guy here with 1 infantryman. All right. That should be all. That should be all for ANZAC. Round 5. Collecting 10 IPCs plus the 3 we kept, so 13 IPCs. No, wait. Collecting 10 plus 5, 15 IPCs plus the 3 we kept, 18 IPCs for round 6. France just goes 1 and 2. That is it. All right. We move on to Germany. Round 6. Germany, round 6. Purchase includes a major industrial complex, 13 infantry, 1 mechanized infantry, and a fighter, totaling 83 IPCs. A monster purchase. leaving the transport behind. The whole fleet goes into here. That's a destroyer, 3 submarines, a cruiser, and a loaded carrier with fighters. We will be scrambling to try and get max damage against him here. So it's my 5 destroyers and 2 fighters that he's fighting there. And for combats, it looks like the only other combat here is that he's pushing a whack load of men into Rostov. Is that it for combat? That's for your German combats? Alright, we will roll those out. So he wiped out the 3 guys there. I didn't even get any hits back. That's brutal. And Germany did a very strategic move here. They lost everything. America lost everything, but Germany kept his 3 subs right on probably the most expensive convoy zone in the game, and a guaranteed convoy rolling around for him, as there is no surrounding destroyers to deal with this. So he's going to roll 6 dice at the end of USA's turn, convoying. There's 32 income potential on this season. That's it's going to be rough. All right, so we pray that he rolls all 4s and up. So now we move into the non-combat. So for non-combat, he moved an anti-aircraft gun into Bryansk and 1 into Rostov. Placed 3 men there, moved 3 men down, and placed another 3. Consolidated a big force in Ukraine. I think he snuck some tanks out into here and maybe brought some from somewhere else, but he's got 4 tanks, a mech, 3 fighters he put here, and a industrial complex. That's his purchase he put there. He's got 2 tanks and 3 mech here. All these guys chilling in northern Italy, a mech, and these guys were placed. So, and of course the subs stay there. The transport moved up. So this is how it looks for the end of Germany's turn. Still looking very beefy, but slowly being pushed back, possibly. So for income, Germany collects 59 IPCs, plus a bonus of 2, 5, 5, and 5. So 59 plus 17.
Is
76? 76 IPCs, but there is a Russian sub there. So we're going to roll a convoy for that. That equals 0 convoying. So 76 IPCs to the German coffers, bringing us to Russia, turn 6. So we have our Russian combat moves here. So moving those 6 guys up in Archangel, moving 8 infantry and 2 artillery into Bryansk, moving 12 infantry and 4 artillery into Rostov, moving 1 mech down into Caucasus, moving the tank up into northwest Persia, moving this mech down to Italian Somaliland, and this tank 1-2 into Tunisia. But one big thing that we're going to roll out first, that we'll be right back with, is we forgot to convoy Italy for this massive stack. Just counted it up. It's 6 dice, so we're going to roll 6 dice to convoy the Italian economy. That should have been done at the end of the Italian turn. We're just going to get it done right now. 6 IPCs convoyed away, so Italy goes down from 12 down to 6. Back to Russia. Here are the combats. Quick side note, this is the purchase. 10 infantry and 1 artillery for 34 IPCs. So this is how the combats look now. And alright, these invasions went off without a hitch. Went off without a hitch. We snagged this one. The infantry failed to get the hit back. This one went really bad, but we got it. Lost all the infantry. Kept the 4 artillery. This one went better. And we took that up there. So this puts Russia at 31 IPCs. And if I'm counting the bonuses right, that's 31 plus 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So 31 plus 15 would be 46. 46 IPCs to the Russian coffers for turn 7. But we will just do the non-combat moves very quick and place our purchase. Okay, so 2 infantry and artillery placed there, remaining infantry up there. As stated, 46 IPCs to the Russian coffers. That brings us to the most terrifying round for the Allies. Japan, round 6. Who knows? We might be smelling the end here, ever since that ANZAC fleet absolutely ruined all plans the Allies had for curbing the Japanese assaults. Let's see how this goes. Alright, as the Allied player, I'm going to, through tears, explain how this round's going. Okay, so submarine and bomber attack here, submarine and bomber attack there. Subs, destroyer, and bomber attack up there in Sea Zone 9. Battleship comes out, attacks this destroyer. We'll show the saddest part last. Infantry comes up and takes. We got 2 infantry, an infantry, an artillery, a fighter, and 2 attack bombers attacking the single man, and I think that's Hopai. And then of course the 3 transports loaded up 5 infantry and a artillery and came 1, 2, 3, offloaded into a completely empty capital that yours truly completely blundered the last round. Not that it was 100% a blunder. I mean, we were supposed to destroy these transports the last round, but we should have noticed that when we didn't, we really should have sat back in our capital. That really would have been the wiser play here. Just leaving it wide open like that is a insane blunder. Very possibly game costing. Let's come back with how... Oh, yes, of course. Yes. Also, here's the absolutely horrific purchase. How many IPCs was this purchase? What did we say last time? How much did Japan get? I know it's over 80. Yeah, 80 exactly, consisting of 2 transports, another 4 transports, 3 infantry, 5 infantry, a tank, and a destroyer. Just, crazy numbers. Is that a perfect purchase? Perfectly 80 IPCs there. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to stop this, ladies and gentlemen, but let's see. Let's see what the dice have in store for us here. Crushing defeats across... Actually, around this area, not so bad. We lost our destroyer, took out his sub and bomber, took out his sub there, took out nothing up there. But I mean, really doesn't matter. We lost this here. He obviously took this, no problem. And took these handedly. We got a hit back on the infantry there, but Adrian and I just counted it up. And if I miss this convoy here, he's getting exactly 100 IPCs. He's sitting right at 70 with 15 in bonuses. 5, 10, 15, plus the 15 that he had that the Anzacian coffers had. So that's a total of 30 in bonuses and loot from 70. Perfectly 100 IPCs going to Japan. We'll be back with his non-combats and mobilization. This is how it all ends up. Everything moves into here, plus the 3 infantry that were purchased go here. Small fleet purchase goes here. Everything comes down to defend Calcutta. It's necessary for him to keep that. This is all how it stays. The carriers moved in with the battleship. I think that's really basically it. Just it's pretty simple non-combat, and and his massive purchase, his massive invasion purchase goes up there. Collecting 100 IPCs. We'll quickly roll this and see if we can bring that down to 97. And we can. Too bad that there wasn't more valuable territories around. Perfectly 97 IPCs to Japan. USA turn 6. Purchasing, oh man. I know I've let USA down, but I also feel like USA has let me down. This is just so sad. We're in dire straits here. 79 IPCs, 5 bombers, 1 fighter, 3 infantry. Alright, moving into combat. 2 very meager combats, and if things weren't looking so bad in the Pacific, I would just be overjoyed right now. I mean, I guess we are getting that bad convoy, but really, we are putting the screws to Germany at the very least. Transport here goes 1, 2, 3, takes Norway. That's a massive bonus away from Germany. They can't get that back this next turn, so that's pretty huge. But over here, I mean, like this, I think this is all we can really do here. Just push the 2 subs out and attack that, and see what comes of that. Yeah, it's a shame. Can't reach those transports, can't really help at all anymore. Bad choices as America this game. We learn for next time, though. We'll be back with how this little fight goes. The 3 subs submerged. They didn't want to be attacked. So we just completely knocked out his destroyer, and destroyer got no hit back. Moving into non-combat. Bomber lands there. Mediterranean fleet scooches down to safety. Blunders upon blunders, as promised for America. So, in all my fatigue, I thought that I already purchased a factory the previous turn for Greece. Turns out I did not. So these 3 men just got to go into either coast. It's so pitiful. All right. Whatever. Darn you, Greece, for not having a minor IC on you yet. Entire purchase goes there. USA collecting 79 IPCs. China and UK up next. Oh yes, how could we forget? How could we forget this? We'll show this one. See what kind of damage you can do here. Okay, yeah, so that's 4, 7. 7 out of the possible 18. So 79 down to 72. 72 IPCs to USA. China purchases 2 infantry. China pushes out 3 infantry down to here. We had our big bulk here, 1 guy here, 1 guy here. This guy here moved this way, this guy here moved this way with 3 infantry. So 4 versus 1 there. 3 and a fighter versus 1 here. If we can get this, it'll bring us up to 6 yet again. So we'll go for it. Some brutal defense by the Japanese, but we overcame. So we lost 1 guy here. Let's put you more in the center there. We lost 1 guy there in the middle. We lost 2 guys here in Sikang, and well, that guy had no resistance, so he took it without resistance. 2 units that we purchased go right there to the middle, and then this fighter has to land. Let's go to the safest spot possible. Right there, 6 IPCs to China, bringing us to UK. UK with 37 IPCs and 0. All right, we'll be back with that. For 37 IPCs, 3 transports, a mech, 4 infantry. Moving into combat. For combat, we have to win this. If we don't win this, that'll actually just be game losses for the Allies. It's already very unlikely that we win this fight. But, I mean, wouldn't be really fair if we didn't give it to you guys, right? We got to show how this goes. Who knows? Who knows how lucky we get? Yeah, Adrian's looking at me and laughing already. Yeah, exactly. Who knows how lucky we get? Oh, on the flip side, we got that. Yeah, okay. So, it is what it is. All right. I think that is actually the absolute only combat. There's not even any combats on the Europe side, so it's just this for UK. Yeah, we'll be back with how this... Oh, we should probably roll this one for the people. Let's give it to the people. All right, I'm going to set it up. So these are the dice that I get to roll. 13 at 1, 10 at 2, 1 at 3, and 2 at 4. Again, 13 at 1, 10 at 2. This is just 5 men that have been moved up to the 2 line, obviously. 1 at 3, 2 at 4. He has, I'm guessing, way more. Still counting it up, but I'm going to throw my dice. Starting with the 1s. Down the hatch. Oh, and a dead one, so it's 3 already. That's not bad for 1s. We're like 13 dice and getting a hit. And getting 3 hits is nice, and we get to reroll 1 of them. Oh, no way. Amazing, amazing. We're at 4 hits. 10 at 2, 1 at 3, 2 at 4. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a dead one. So we're already at 10. Hopefully 11. I think I mentioned it earlier in this video, but if any dice is sideways or cinched, not flat, it's considered dead here. That's how we do it here. You do it however you want at home, but that's how we do it here. So we get to re-roll them if they're not laying flat. The only time we do count them at an angle is if they're on that backboard. If they're flat on this backboard, then we count them. So they have to be completely flat on the surface. So this one wasn't. Re-roll. Oh, amazing. That brings us to 11 hits. 11 hits. All right, here comes the retribution, though. All right, so he's got 23 at 2 apparently here. We don't count it up here on the. What we do here is, because Adrian and I like to play competitively against each other, we don't do battle calculators. We do the rough measurements in our heads just from experience, and we just find the battle calculators while we're trying to play a competitive game against each other. Then we don't like them, so we don't do them. Here comes 3 hits. That was your
11.
That's 11 out of 23.
Yes.
Okay, 11 out of 23. So we're at 3 hits so far, and another 3. So we're at 6 hits so far. 6. Here's our little tracker dice right there. And here come the heavy hitters. 9 at 3 and 4 at 4. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hits. All right, 14. That's respectable. So that's all my 13 at 1 gone, and this has to turn into 4. All right, so that's how it ends up looking. Yay, we got chips back. Isn't that at the cost of me losing the game? We got chips back. That's great. Well, you shouldn't speak so soon. All right, that should bring us to 9 at 2, and all the, 9 at 2, 1 at 3, 2 at 4. Here goes nothing. 9 at 2, 1 at 3, 2 at 4. Good angle, try and get no shadows on this. Here comes. 5 hits. Yeah, that's good. 5 hits. All right. We take it. 5 hits. All right, 5 hits would be these 3 and these 2. So that's on the casualty line now, but of course they get to fire back, as all veteran Axis Knowledge players know. Yeah, okay, that's right. That's 5 hits right there. Oh man, it's still super dicey. Here comes a. What's coming back? Oh, that's bad. What is that? 1. He's got a dead dice there too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? 10. Yeah, okay, that's all my land units. So, that all died. I'm left with this bomber, which now attacks at a 3 because the fighter had to go. Oh, yeah, his dead dice. Oh, it's still dead. Oh, well, phew, eh? Well, phew. All right, since this battle failed, the Allies just straight up lose, and I'll explain why for those that don't understand entirely why this happens. So even if ANZAC can muster the strength on the ANZAC turn to take this back, that would bring Japan down to 5 of the 6 victory cities they need. So you might be thinking, oh, well, that's great. But the biggest issue here is that those transports will take Honolulu, and they'll take it with more force than the Americans could ever hope to retake it with. So that'll be an entire turn of that, and he still owns Calcutta. So the only way that we could have not even clinched victory, just saved ourselves from immediate defeat, was if we won this crazy unlikely fight here, and if we win this crazy unlikely fight here. We had to win them both. We've already failed the first one, so we shake Adrian's hand. All right, thank you all for watching. This has been an entire playthrough of one G40 out of box, no bid game. We hope you all enjoyed.